Hey guys, good morning. Happy Wednesday. It's Daryl here. It is 5 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. All right, this is the third time I've made this video over. I've downloaded it twice and I've stopped the download. I just don't feel comfortable about this video. I am having a hard time even talking about this. Walter Wallace, 27-year-old man, Philadelphia, shot at 14 times. I don't know how many times, if he was hit 14 times, 14 shots fired at him. He was carrying a knife. And the protests, which have grown quite a bit. My first two videos. Okay, I got to ask myself, if this was me, this man had mental health issues. Now, it's reported that the family called for an ambulance, that he was off his medication. It's reported that the police showed up first and had their weapons drawn. Now, all we see in the video, we see Walter Wallace holding what appears to be a knife. Now, whether it's a serrated hunting knife, whether it's a butter knife, I can't tell. But still, it looks like suicide by cop. That was my first instinct with this. I have a hard time with this video. If it were me, now this man had mental health, he had mental health issues. Let's compare this to Daniel Prude in Rochester, New York. Completely unarmed. He was bare butt naked during the snow. It was snowing in March, sitting on the pavement, hands handcuffed behind his back. They then put a spit hood over him, and then as if that wasn't enough, they turned him over on his stomach and pressed his face into the pavement, and he subsequently passed away. It was asphyxiated. This is a whole different story. Okay, now I don't know if it's common procedure for the police to also show up when the ambulance is called. I don't know that. I don't know why the police got there first. I don't know why they weren't equipped with tasers, why they didn't use tasers first. All right. But what I also saw was the police backing away from him constantly. Backing away, which made me think. It made me think that they were hesitant. This man was approaching them with lethal force, a knife. I have to assume that they knew it was a mental health call. This man was unstable. He had a weapon. He was approaching them. Their lives were being threatened. I don't think any of us can argue that. They're backing away. In the video, you see them backing away from Walter Wallace. To me, that says that their first choice was to not use lethal force. They didn't want to use it. If they're backing away constantly instead of using their weapons, that's what that tells me. I'm going to be honest with you guys. If I'm going to maintain my integrity on this channel, I have to be honest and talk from my heart. And I don't see this as having a lot of racial overtones. I don't. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But if I went out today, say I drink a fifth of vodka, so that I wasn't in my right mind, trying to make things similar, I ended up with a weapon, a knife in my hand, and the police showed up. And I went after them, chasing them around a car. More than likely, the odds would not favor me living to see the next day. What I saw here appeared to be suicide by cop. Or this man, or Walter Wallace was seriously intent on trying to hurt the police. I don't know. I have a hard time with this. I do. I don't. I have to ask why the police weren't armed with tasers, first of all. This man was armed, though. If an ambulance had gotten there first, would he have been armed at that time? I don't know. Was he armed before any of these emergency services got there? Or did he see the police arrive and then get inflamed and pick up the knife? These questions don't make a whole lot of difference. What I see is the police being hesitant to use their weapons first. I see them backing away, and that surprised me. I have to be honest with you guys, that surprised me. I don't know if that's in their training, to back away from a suspect like that. I have to doubt that. I don't know a lot about police procedure, but that tells me that they were not, their first instinct was not to shoot this man. They were hesitant to use their weapons. 14 shots being fired. That seems like a lot. You have at least 2 officers firing. Now, when one officer is firing, he doesn't, this stuff is happening so fast and quick, I don't think they know if the other one's firing or not. And with a man quickly approaching you with a weapon, I don't know. Adrenaline pumping, I could conceive pulling that trigger and pulling it fast to stop the threat that's continually coming at me just to save my life. Again, I don't know why these officers weren't armed with a taser, but look, I got to be honest with you guys. This is not the same situation. To me, my opinion here, this is not the same situation as Daniel Prude being subdued naked in the street, or George Floyd with his neck being needle-lined. This is not, to me, it's not the same situation. It speaks to the mental health crisis in America. Why this situation was let to get to this point. Why wasn't he taking his medication? Why? If it was my family member that this happened to, I'd be angry that that he wasn't taking his medication and this happened. It got to this point. It was allowed to get to this point where, if it was my family member, it got to the point that they threatened armed police officers. Would I be mad at the police? I'd probably be mad at everybody. Would I blame the police? I don't think so. I see them backing away. That tells me that their first instinct wasn't just to open fire and kill this black man. That's what that tells me. I got to be honest here, guys. I know there's people who's going to turn on this video. The people are going to turn this video on. They're going to expect me to rant and rage against the police, and I can't do that here. It speaks to the mental health crisis across America, especially with COVID-19 and the situation. A lot of us are experiencing a lot of extra anxiety, which will lead to mental health issues. That, we should be talking about that. Was this a racially motivated incident? I can't say it was or wasn't. If that were me, being mentally unbalanced, approaching an officer, following the officer around a car with a knife, could I expect to be shot? Probably. I don't know. And then all of the, from what I see in the media, it's a lot more what I would call rioting and looting as opposed to protesting. What I got to say here is this is going to hurt the Black Lives Matter movement more than anything. What we're seeing here. We're seeing a situation where it's questionable. Why didn't the police use a taser? That's the first question. But I also see the police backing away from this man. That's an indication that their first response wasn't to kill him. I got to be honest here. I'm not going to ignore that fact. The lines are a lot more blurry here. And the response with the looting and the rioting, and now the National Guard has been called out. And all of this is happening in Philadelphia. It's happening in Philadelphia, which is in Pennsylvania, which is a key swing state in this election. I'm very surprised that neither candidate has brought this up. I'm especially surprised that Donald Trump hasn't brought this up yet as a need for law and order in our country. What I'm saying here is, first of all, I cannot with good faith call this a racially motivated police shooting. I can't do that. If it were me, I truly believe in my heart there's a good chance that I wouldn't live to see the next day if I had done that, being white or Native American. And the response, the rioting and looting. Now, I don't know. Maybe the media is showing me an unbalanced view of what's going on. But from what I'm seeing, it's not, to me, my opinion is this isn't going to help the Black Lives Matter movement. Again, one of the things that stuck out in that video was the police backing away, continually backing away from Walter Wallace, coming at them with a knife. This tells me that their first instinct was not to kill him. That's how I feel about this. For the people that tuned in to see me rage about the police and shooting another black man, I can't do that. There should be more mental health available to everybody, regardless of poverty level. All police should be equipped with tasers. I think emergency calls should be separated more between mental health issues so this doesn't keep happening, so that armed police don't show up when we have a mental health crisis. But again, I don't know if Walter Wallace was threatening people with that knife before the police even showed up. If he was, then the police were necessary. The ambulance crew couldn't approach somebody with a knife. So it's not as cut and dry in this one. It's not. And I can't come on here and say that the police were all that wrong. I saw them try not to shoot him when they backed away from him, continually backing away. And then, like I said, the response, the rioting, I can't condone it. So some people might be surprised by but this is from my heart. I have to be honest. I can't come on here just because I am liberal, I'm progressive, and I can't come on here and just toe the line, because people expect me to say. People expect me to rage against the police. People expect me to come on here and blame the police no matter what. No matter what, any person of color was shot wrong. It was a bad shooting. I can't do that. Can't do that. What this man was doing, he was threatening somebody else with lethal force. And in our society, lethal force is met with lethal force. So those are my feelings. All right. You guys have a good Wednesday.